Okay, so I've got my chart all filled out here, all the lines drawn. Should look something like this when you're all done. Now we're going to start with our value scale. So this is also the setup you want to have when you get ready to paint. Similar to working with acrylics, you want to keep all your paint stuff up here, so you don't want your paint on one side and your water on one side and your palette on the other, because you don't want to be transferring across over top of your paper and accidentally drip something. So keep that all up here, all in line. And again, here's my what I talked about before last week, is having 2 containers of water. You can see here's my one that's got color in it because I've already used it. That's for washing out the brush. This one is clean water, which we won't use too much today, or I probably won't use it all today, but you'll see we'll use it in the next step quite a bit. And then my palette with my colors in there, and my mixing palette. And you can also use these 2 wells here for mixing if you want as well. And then I have my towel folded up right here. My brush is ready to go. Be careful when you pick up your paints. One thing that I accidentally did, the burnt sienna and the alizarin crimson, especially if you're in your room and it's kind of dark, it's easy to mistake them. They're very similar in color, and I accidentally put burnt sienna in my alizarin crimson and had to wash it out. So make sure you read it, make sure you look at them carefully, turn the lights on, open the window shades, whatever. All right, so I am going to do my value scale. So I'm going to use blue for that, my cobalt blue. So the colors are similar: alizarin crimson, burnt umber, yellow. Whoops. So I'm going to start out, and I want to just add enough water to get that to move around and not be sticky. Okay, just to get it fluid so that it's nice and dark. And then I'm going to paint in my first, and you can use your square brush. Actually, I don't know why I'm using my round brush. I should probably use my square brush since I'm painting squares. Maybe I'll switch to that here in just a second. It would make sense, wouldn't it? Okay, got that. Get rid of that brush, get this one wet, ready to go. All right. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, in fact, I'm going to slide this one right. I'm going to switch these because I'm going to be using this dirty one since it's already wet. And then what you're going to do is just add a little bit of water. Okay. And you can, with one of your other pieces of paper, I didn't have one handy, I'm going to use the back of another piece, just to test out your colors to make sure you're getting it a little bit lighter. Okay. See, it's just a little bit lighter. You don't want to drop too much. In fact, that might be even a little bit too light, but that's okay. All right. And then when you get that little puddle in the bottom, if you want to control that, you can take a book, or here's a piece of wood. I'm going to tilt it so that all that paint kind of runs down to the bottom and concentrates there. And then you can always, it's starting to dissipate a little bit, you can always just dry off your brush and then soak up the excess. All right. So I'm going to take my brush, add a little more, get some more water, make it a little bit lighter again. Maybe you have to spread that out a little bit because you don't want to keep adding a ton of water. So if you started out with too much paint, because we're just painting little squares, pull it off to the side a little bit. Okay, that doesn't look a whole lot, a little bit lighter. And you can also adjust, you know, by how much you pull the paint and how much you let it puddle up, you can adjust how light or how dark it is too. And, or you could also always just, if I, by example here, just take my brush and dry it off, I can always lift some color. As you see, I can go across like that and kind of lift some color out of there to make it a little bit lighter if need be. Okay. I really should have gone, I can always repaint these, but I should have gone a little bit lighter, I'm sorry, a little bit darker on that second one. Okay, you can see this is not a lot different. So I'm going to dry it off my brush, and I'm just going to lift some color out of there. I didn't practice, as you can tell, I didn't practice this ahead of time. So now over here in my palette, if you can see it, I'm pushing way over here where I'm getting it really thin and light. And I'm going to end up lifting even more color out of this. Pull it down actually like that. Okay, but I'm going to run out before I get there. But I would let this dry and probably go in. That's probably dry enough. I could probably repaint this one here. Go back into my original. Yeah, there we go. Repaint that. Make that a little bit darker. There we go. And just keep doing that. Let them dry a little bit. And just repaint them. You don't want to rework it too much. I go a little bit darker there. And if I wanted that paint to kind of run back and fill that in more, you know, I could set that down like that. And see, then it kind of disperses like that. Just get a little touch up, soak up some of that in the corner there. And there you have it, and that's what you're going to do to paint this scale, and you want it to step down. Actually, ideally, probably this one should be right here. So these are all going to need to be repainted. So it's good maybe that I made a mistake so that you can kind of see how to correct it.